Bougie babes, and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about vaginal hygiene and tips that I found are very useful to me and some that might be useful to you. If you're interested, keep on watching. Make sure you click that like button down below and subscribe if you're a new person here because mama needs her biscuits. Before we begin, I'm gonna give you a little bit about my backstory on the journey I have went through to get to the place now where I can say I actually am a lot more comfortable sharing some tips that I have that might actually work for you. Before we begin, I want to start off by saying if you're an African American woman, I think it is really important that you do the research on your genetics, things that you are more prone to. That is tip number one. I would take advice from people that weren't like me, things that would work for them, but when I would try it, it would either A, make it a lot worse, or B, just like it wouldn't do anything. And for me, for a very, very long time, I was perfectly fine as far as like hygiene. I wasn't sexually active until the age of 18, and even then, like my pH and all that type of stuff, it was never thrown off. I had never dealt with a yeast infection. I never had a UTI, never had BV, any of those things until I turned 20. Like everything kind of went downhill for me for a long time. And if you're a woman, you know what it feels like to not feel 100%, and it messes with your self-esteem, your confidence. It really does kind of make you feel low about yourself. So I started at the age of 20. I'm 21 right now. So 1 year, which is a lot of progress in 1 year, but whatever. I started off at the age of 20 trying to find things that would work for me. Before I start telling you guys my tips, let me tell you what I used to use. I used to use the Dove Sensitive Skin No Scent Bar. And I know what you're thinking, a soap bar is not the safest for your lady parts because it has detergents and chemicals, but I had watched a YouTube video and she, basically said that it worked for her. So I thought, why the hell not? Let's try it. And for a long time, for a complete 2 years, it didn't give me much of a problem until I turned 20 years old and I became really sensitive to whatever was in the Dove bar. It would make me itchy and dry and just every bad thing you can think of was happening to me. Things that I were using before when I was a teenager was no longer working because my body chemistry was just changing, and that's natural, that is normal. But it scared the shit out of me because I had never dealt with vaginal dryness or irritation and things like that, and it got so bad to the point where I was having back-to-back yeast infections. And around that time I had a gynecologist and she told me I didn't have BV. So when you have back-to-back yeast infections, you start to think the worst possible things, right? So it had got to the point where I'm spending so much money trying to go to these doctors so they can cure it, taking antibiotics left and right, which is destroying my immune system at the same time. And right when I would finish the pills, I would have a yeast infection or a UTI right after without even having to have sex. Like it would just fuck up my system, my pH balance every single time. And I remember it got so bad to the point where I couldn't be intimate with my boyfriend. I didn't feel comfortable being intimate with him. And I would just cry some nights because as a woman, it is a lot harder to accept the fact that you might have some things going on, and like sometimes honestly a man doesn't truly understand that feeling. So after months of dealing with that, I finally got sick of spending all my money on these antibiotics that weren't helping. So I did some research and people were just raving about boric acid suppositories. If you don't know what boric acid suppositories are, I suggest you do your research because I'm going to give you a very brief, not so educated synopsis of what this means. A lot of people roast it because it's used to kill roaches and stuff, but it's been scientifically proven that it helps balance a woman's pH balance. I don't know, it's weird, but it works. I'm going to put the brand that I use right here because I don't remember the name of it right now, but this is the brand I use. A lot of people say it's a trustworthy brand, and all I can really say about the brand is anytime I have ever felt like I'm getting a yeast infection or one is about to come, I pop one of those babies in right before bed, and usually the next day the symptoms subside, and with reoccurring dosage over a couple of days, symptoms are completely gone. And I don't have to take anything through the mouth and deal with digestive issues. It's just instantly healing that one area, which love that. Like I said, do more research because what works for me might not work for you, and that's okay, but I suggest it. Make sure whatever you are washing yourself with down there is not harsh. Now, it took me a long journey of finding like the right type of feminine wash that would work for me. But right now I use the brand HoneyPot, as a lot of people are right now. A lot of people are raving about this brand, and I don't blame them, because for one, it's made by a woman for a woman, and it even says that on the packaging, which I really appreciate. Because all this Summer's Eve and Vagisil and shit like that, that is gonna tear you apart. Nothing should ever go down there that is fragrance, that has harsh chemicals, and that wants to make you smell like a peach. Because I'm sorry, love. This is the harsh reality. It's not supposed to smell like a peach, and that's okay. If it has a bad odor, go get checked out. You know, because of mainstream media, pornography, and things like that that are just harshening the human mind, people just assume it has to smell like lilies and sunflowers and kisses down there, when it just doesn't. Everyone has their natural scent, and that's okay. So, HoneyPot is one of my favorite brands right now. I've been using it for about, I want to say 4 or 5 months consistently. For one, it has apple cider vinegar in it, which is really good to balance the pH. And I know what you're thinking. Apple cider vinegar has a strong smell, but even though you can kind of smell it whenever you pump it in your hand because it's a foam, as soon as you wash and you rinse, that scent is immediately gone. It's like your lady parts absorb it almost. I can't explain it. It has never given me a problem, and if anything, that's probably the only feminine soap that I've ever felt genuinely clean after washing with it, you know? It's tempting to wash it every single day, all day with your feminine wash, but believe it or not, some days you don't need to. Because I work from home, right? And let's say I stay at home the whole day and I showered in the morning. I didn't do any heavy activity, I didn't sweat, nothing, right? When I go and shower that night, I'm not gonna get the foam and wash again. I'm just gonna use water, because you don't wanna wash too much and irritate your skin down there. Especially if I'm not sweating, it's not worth putting soap. But if I'm active, if I'm doing things, if I'm sweating down there and you know, things happen, you're human, you have pores, that's normal, then I'm going to use that foam. Like, please wash yourself. But not all the time do you have to use your feminine wash, okay? This step is my favorite step. Don't wear any underwear. I know it sounds weird. I know it sounds nasty, but not wearing any underwear reduces the risk of built up bacteria because it gets moist down there. Sorry for those that hate the M word, but it does. Not only that, but we have discharge and all these types of things that go out and in us, okay? Let that air flow. It keeps it nice and dry. It keeps it a healthy environment for the good bacterias that are down there. Obviously, if you're on your period, wear underwear. It's not hard, but if you're not menstruating and you know, everything's good down there, I say let her be free. If you have not been paying attention the whole time, right now is the time to pay attention. Probiotics. The brand I use is called Garden of Life, and I'll put it right here. So it has 16 probiotic strains. It's for vaginal health, immune health, and digestive balance. And it's dairy-free, soy-free, and gluten-free, which is really good. And the one I have comes with 30 capsules. I got it in Target, and I think it was about $25. Sadly, they're expensive. For the good ones, they're expensive. When you eat yogurt, right? Yogurt has live cultures in it. That's what it always says on it. Like, active cultures, right? That pretty much means good bacteria. And that's why they're always saying, women, eat your yogurt because it's good bacteria. Well, the probiotics, it's doubled the amount of that good bacteria that you need to balance out the bad. The benefits that I have noticed so far, one, it has been helping me so much for my digestive system. I deal with IBS. Ever since I have been taking these, I have been pooping on the daily. My boyfriend's always like, it's good to poop once a day, but I don't like pooping once a day. It's good for you. Let all that toxic waste out. Another benefit that I've noticed is that since I have taken these, I have not been dealing with any recurring yeast infections. When I was a teenager, I really was struggling to find my way in this world regarding my hygiene and things like that, because my mom would never sit me down and talk about it. They would be strict to making sure that you were taking your damn bath, but they would never really get touchy for females on how to take care of yourself down there. I want to help you guys with the tips that I have that may help you. Those are my 5 tips to feminine hygiene and the things that work for me. Of course, I have other tips, but if you guys want a part 2, you're gonna have to comment down below. So at the end of the day, if you guys have anything you want to see, please let me know. And of course, make sure you do your own research. Anyways, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to this video so you can be part of the bougie